You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service, your commute to work, that one spot in your house where your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons, that's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/try us.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Joining alongside Emilio in Tennessee, we got Jacob in Wisconsin. Back to talk a little Packers today, and more specifically, training camp practice number 3 in the books. And I tell you, man, we had it was the Eric Stokes show. We're going to dive into it, but we will waste no time at least mentioning that at the top here, because Eric Stokes showed up, and really, really excited to see if this is the year he puts it all in play and forces us to pay him a big paycheck in the offseason. That would be awesome.
Did you see what Shavink just tried to do to us? You see what Shavink just tried to do to us?
Oh,
J-Lo signed a deal, and then he says, just so happens to be Julian Love. You can't do that, Jake.
Unbelievable.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Jake, somebody mute Jake in the chat for 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, right.
You've been penalized, sir. Nah. All right. So you guys have a good day, though. We good? Everything good your way?
Happy to be here talking ball, man. Second day in. I listen actually diving into a little bit of Cowboys podcast just because my dad's a fan, so I was just trying to see what they're talking about. Literally, second podcast in, they were talking about Jordan Love and like, oh well, Dak Prescott and Jordan Love, they're kind of there, but are they going to pay Dak? We got a lot more people. They have a bunch of people on the payroll over like 3 to 5 to 10 million. Like they got issues over there. One of them even mentioned, what if we pay Dak and CD and then trade Micah for a whole boatload? It's like, dude, what is going on?
Look, it's funny. We didn't even plan this, which is hilarious, but I had this kind of in the hopper. We're going to talk about practice. That's what we're here for today, obviously. But since you mentioned the Cowboys, you look at the cap hits amongst quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, $55.1 million this year, and he's like, I need more money.
Yeah, they're pushing. they're talking about pushing 60, like 60 plus, 65 maybe. What are we doing here? But they're saying maybe we need to bring him in and say, hey, if they know that he's going to win the deal, but how much is he going to win it by? Like, can we bring him in and be like, dude, if you do this, these 3 guys are going to be off the team. Like, do you want another $8 million or whatever sort of thing?
How would you like to have Deshaun Watson there, Jacob? $63.7 million cap hit, bro. Lord,
no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Just remind me before, just because that popped into my head. Remind me later after we talk about maybe the ups and downs of said offense later. I'm sure we'll get into it. That I have a great conspiracy.
Love it.
All right.
Always do.
I'm ready for it. Unfortunately, as you may or may not be aware, the conspiracy video now is throwing a copyright.
Oh, no, it has?
Yeah, the music, which was downloaded from a copyright-free website. Yeah. So, Jacob, I'm sorry, man. Sorry. I didn't have time to Photoshop you into that little UFO either.
I know.
Is that Bigfoot? Is that he's got the rights to that music or something? Or?
I think it is. Sasquatch himself, Harry and the Hendersons over there, like, hey, pay
money. Get that money.
We'll go to the chat here. I had a couple marked from earlier. Omer was in here. He said, I'm not sure whether to dance because the defense looks so damn good or to cry because we have no O-line and our $11.5 million running back is missing in action. Then he said he was going to bed. So it was hilarious that he's over in France, obviously. So Christian said, love watch day 3. Obviously, we'll talk about that. We'll get into it. Josh Vallanningham in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Says, I absolutely love this channel. Clayton, Jake, Tim, and Amalalio are straight up heroes. Not all heroes wear capes, but some do wear sombreros. You know what I'm saying? So.
I think he was going for Emilio, but that's basically how you spell it, I think.
That's about what I get everywhere I go, man. It's a lot of A's, M's, and
me being the redneck constitutionalist I am, all I seen was ammo right there in the front.
That's what I thought.
Selling ammo? What?
Dude, my dad, one of my dad's favorite movies we used to watch together was Night at the Roxbury. And every time that you come on, Emilio, and we drop that, he just loses his mind. He thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. Yeah.
Hilarious. Let's see here. Josh Valanihan went on to say, we can't forget the woman, the myth, the legend, Carly Ray. I hope Carly's doing good. We haven't spoke to her in a little bit. I tell you, this time of year, getting to the political season, some people go into hiding. I'm not saying that's what she's doing, but sometimes it's like the grandpa on The Simpsons. You know, he walks in, I'll log on to Twitter. He walks in, takes his hat off, puts it in a rack, turns around, picks it back up, puts it on, walks back out the door. So, yeah, I'm sure Carly's doing well, though, for sure. Dick in the chat says, Omer, do you dictate or type? I'm old and amazed at the speed and quality of your chat. Unfortunately, Dick, Omer was already asleep by the time.
We'll get an update on that tomorrow for you.
Yeah. When we get in here tomorrow, he will have us an update, I promise. So now I love Omer, man. He's so passionate about the Packers, man. Fans like that, it's just awesome connecting with them. So, all right, let's just get into it, man. We'll try to rapid fire like we did yesterday through the notes and see exactly what went on at practice today. We're going to get to everything, all right? We're going to make sure we do. And I've got it in somewhat of an order, kind of the headlines, and then we'll wrap it up with what actually happened at practice. So obviously, like they said in the chat, Jordan Love, hold in day 3. This was Matt Schneidman tweeted it out. You see Jordan's right there at practice again. Obviously, he's not practicing, but there with the guys in all the meetings. Did you guys hear the story? I think it was Wildy's the only person I've heard tell this story, and I think he was one that kind of, if it is a story to break, I don't know. But he said that Jordan Love gave Sean Clifford a heads up like over the weekend, like, hey, if things keep going the way they're going, be ready to go with the ones because I'm not going to be practicing, right? So he kind of gave him a heads up. And so Sean Clifford said, it's cool that he's here and everything, right? He said, well, I came in the building at 7 o'clock the next morning thinking, all right, let me get in here a little early. I'm going to be running with the ones, take advantage of the opportunity. He looks down just a couple of lockers down, and Jordan Love's bag's on the floor. He's already in the building. So he was already meeting with LaFleur, meeting with Tom Clements. This is Jason Wilde that reported this. Pretty cool, man. So Jordan Love, based off the situation right now, to me, he's handled it like an absolute class act pro. So that's the latest, though, day 3 hold in. Obviously, we'll see how that shakes out. Rob, it was, first of all, an absolute honor to be invited on Rob Westerman's channel last night and on his Twitter handle. We got on there and chatted it up. And by the way, shout out to the PTA posse. You guys showed up in force. It was awesome seeing everybody in the chat. I told Rob beforehand, listen, bub, be careful with the chats. Okay, don't just fire those up on the screen. All right, because I know Jacob and Eric Sutherland are in the chat, so just be careful. All right. So anyway, we chopped.
Can I just say too? I watched the whole episode. Rob is awesome, man. I don't know. I didn't know him. I'm really bad at finding content. I basically rely on you guys to just force feed it into the feed, and then I just copy it on. I see. Oh yeah, I saw you like somebody on Twitter. That's cool. I'm gonna follow that person. He's awesome, dude. I feel like me and him could sit down and just, talk ball, and I really like his vibe. Plus, I'm jealous of the jersey. You see the jersey lineup? You guys didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, that was nice, man. I saw all those.
Did you notice the frames underneath the jerseys? Now, I didn't ask him this, but I'm almost positive what it is. Underneath each jersey they're all signed, is a picture of him signing, him having it signed. So he's in the picture with him getting it signed. So I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
That's awesome.
He talked about how his wife is just absolutely awesome. She's always there to help snap the photos and stuff. And just,
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him one day because he's a great guy. Like I said, when I first got on Twitter, man, he was one of the first people I connected with and had a huge – he's got like over 70,000 followers, right? Mm-hmm. And he communicated with me right off the bat, hey, if you ever need anything, shoot me a DM. Just always encouraging, great advice too, His great advice to me was, hey, I usually – he didn't even say, here, Clayton, let me give you advice. He just simply said, I try to stay out of the replies because I just don't want to argue. And I'm thinking, heart, Clayton. Maybe I shouldn't try to argue on Twitter. So some of the best advice I ever got. But he's a great dude, man. He knows ball. I love his demeanor. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He just talks about the facts and just a really good dude, man, for sure.
Right.
So
Dan said it here. Clayton slated on Westerman, a true professional. Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Dan. It was a lot of fun, buddy. And thank you for tuning in this evening, sir. So, all right. So obviously, Love, want to gauge here, like that's the whole thing I was getting to. Rob asked me, are you panicking? Kind of where are you at on the Love thing? And I was pretty vocal. I put a little more on the Packers, but I understand their stance too, right? But to me, if we're 7 days, 7 days from now, and Love still isn't practicing, I'll start getting a little concerned because it's like, okay, we're missing meaningful reps now at this point. Not really there yet, but hopefully they'll get something done. How do you guys feel about it? We panicking? We good? How you feel about it?
What do you got, Jacob?
I'll be honest. I watched a little bit of coverage. I've been trying to stay up with it. I'm always hooked to the news and all their stuff too. So like I'm trying to gather in as much information, drink it from a fire hose. But what I gathered, and I really hate to admit it because I don't want to put any sort of negativity out there, but I want the offensive line to not freak me out so much. It sounded like that they were having issues, many issues the last few days, especially, and then also again today. It sounded like Josh Myers was a little slow getting off the field at the end of practice today. Obviously, we don't have Tom in the mix. Elton Jenkins was not playing today. So I'm starting to kind of deal with how bad was it Dillard? Yeah, Dillard has been. I don't know, dude. It's been kind of one of those things where I thought, hey, we have got a stacked offensive line and we got depth too. And now I'm starting to look at it like, do we even have a starting five? And if we don't have a starting five, and just in addition to that, yeah, the Jordan Love thing it's kind of starting to freak me out because I'm sure we'll get into it, but the offense did nothing today and they didn't do anything yesterday. And they really haven't done anything this whole time. You could attribute that to the defense and Jeff Hafley's scheme, but I think it's quite clear that Jordan Love has something to do with the inconsistencies. And I'll just say it right now, that my conspiracy of the week, whatever you want to do. I wish I had a tinfoil hat I could just throw on. That'd be awesome. I'll make one. That's how we'll do it from now on. I'll just make my own tinfoil hat. But I really wonder, and I know it's probably stupid, but do you think that Jordan Love has any sway over the team that they just maybe for a few days will maybe sputter a little bit here and there? Maybe some of maybe the offensive starters just don't show up. Did you see how many starters didn't play today? A lot of them. Some people tell me it's a lot.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
I'm just saying. What if they're trying to nudge and every day they're like, hey, just so you know, just went up 1 million.
John here, he said, I heard it could take weeks. And then I thought it was, Ron Sample said it too. Diana Rossini said, deal in the next, all caps, few weeks. I'll have an ulcer by then, is what Ron says. Amelia, you stressing yet? Or if it takes a few weeks, I'm going to be a little pissed off.
If it takes a few weeks, we might need to look at it again. But right now, they're still, like they said, they're still basically in mini camp. It's still basically the off season. No pads. They're running through everything else, installs, all that stuff. So yeah, individual drills. Things here and there. I'm not worried. Like who here? Eric, my man, bet my reputation on it. He said, all good, deal coming Friday. I'll bet what little reputation I have on it. So
a little bit of reputation.
I really do think it'll be done by Friday. We'll throw the pads on and then it'll be meaningful reps there. But hey, doesn't it help the coaches seeing everybody else out there? And Jordan Love's still teaching, right? He was still right there, grabbed Pratt and said, hey, stick, when you're out there, stick the ball out further, then pull it, on play action or whatever it was. But
yeah, I love that Eric Sutherland thinks he does have a little reputation.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Cute. Yeah. So cute. Anyway, so that's kind of the Jordan Love talk. I know Coach Lynn said in the chat, not a concern yet. No pads is a big deal. Yeah, completely agree with that. I love this right here. And Smitty says you need a 10-full sombrero, Jacob. That's what you got to get. So
maybe I'll just use that one and I'll just use it as a shell. And I'll go ahead and just ship some aluminum foil over to Jacob.
Yeah. This right here is what worries me now. RE Iron Miner said, if Jordan leaves the building like Elvis, then I'll worry. That would suck. That would be horrible. If all of a sudden they said Jordan Love has went back to California, I'd be like, oh, no. Lord have mercy. So I think we're all right, though, guys. No reason to freak out just yet. And again, seeing him and Matt LaFleur, knowing that him and Matt LaFleur are in the meetings and Jordan's still doing the walkthroughs and all that, it sounds like, I don't know if that's specifically been reported, but it seems like he's doing walkthroughs and stuff as well. Again, 7 days, 6 days now, let's say roughly August 1st. If he's not there, I'm going to be worried. I'm going to be like, okay, let's figure this out. And you guys, again, know where I stand on that, man. I put a little more blame on Goody and Russ Ball than I do Jordan Love personally. I feel like he's done a lot to kind of help the Packers and took that small deal last year. I mean, we just showed this, right? It's a good example. If you look at the statistics from last year, and I know we've beaten this horse to death where we talk about the first half of the season was horrible, second half was great, right? But the reality is at the end of the year, he was like second in touchdown passes, right? And his stats were like, I mean, he was up there. Other than completion percentage, he was pretty much in the top 10 on everything, right? Touchdown to interception ratio really cleaned up there in the second half when he went on that run where it was like 12 or 13 touchdowns on the one interception.
No, dude, he was number one in almost every category. Like, he was that good.
So if you scroll down too, look at this. This is the cap hit for quarterbacks this year, 2024, right? Deshaun Watson, $63 million. Dak Prescott, $55 million. Matthew Stafford, $49 million. Kyler Murray, $49 million. Daniel Jones, $47 million. Pat Mahomes, $37 million. Lamar Jackson, $32. Josh Allen, $30. Joe Burrow, $29. Jared Goff, $27. Geno Smith, $26. Kirk Cousins, $25. Tua Tagovailoa, $23. Justin Herbert, $19. Aaron Rodgers, $17. Trevor Lawrence, $15. Jalen Hurts, $17th. And then you've got Jordan Love, 18th highest cap hit. And he was arguably the best quarterback in the league the second half of the season. Like, come on. It's just hard for me to get behind no, he needs to show up and prove it. No, come on. Let's be real. Let's be fair.
A lot of other teams are in worse situations with people actually holding out. Like, this is absolutely nothing. Like, if we're worried about it, then we need to reevaluate. Just turn on the news for 2 seconds. I think the tackle from San Fran's holding out. You got CD that's not going to camp. He's not even showing up, I don't think. So there are a lot of other worse options we could be in.
Absolutely, man. Coach Lynn in the chat says, I think the deal might be longer than we're thinking, 6 or 7 year deal.
Been saying 6 for $330 for a while now.
And listen, what did Goody say at the presser? Right, we want to work up a deal to where we can put the best team around Jordan. That right there, that might be the key component
for a while. Yeah, for a long time. Like, we don't want it to be a short period of time. We do that.
Well, remember they talked about how I've heard this on multiple, the ESPN podcast, so it's good, or like the Colin Cowherds, where all of a sudden they went from talking about how Jordan sucked and the Packers are stupid to then, they have such a young team, maybe they can do it, and then obviously at the end of the year, and now going in this offseason, people are talking about a Super Bowl window of 2 to 3 years. Imagine if we could extend, like you talking about, if a Jordan Love contract does extend past that typical 3, 4, 5, 6 years or whatever. Like Clayton was just talking about, that gives you another wide gap to start signing some of the guys that we're going to be. What are you laughing at? Like, it starts giving us a longer period of time where we can actually sign rookies, maybe even bring in some free agents, do a lot of that kind of stuff. And I think I think that window just opened up quite wide where you could.
Y'all have matured so much, man. The way y'all just handled that interaction was great. You said, "What are you laughing at?" And then y'all both just straightened up. It was awesome. I'm so proud, man. So proud. So yeah, Coach Lynn, great point there, though, bub. Let's see here. What is this?
Jeez, look at Dylan.
AJ Dillon is an absolute monstrosity. Can you just rewind that back just a little bit? My dude is just like.
Let's watch the thing in real time.
He's like a triangle. Look at his upper body is.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get this out of the way.
Bang. All right. Might have sound. Let's see. Hear him hit it. Hear him.
I heard Charlene.
And then keep playing it. Wait for it right here. When it zooms in. I mean, look at that man.
Oh yeah, dude. That's exactly how I put the trash bag in the can.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying, bro. Perfect form.
These arms like are probably bigger than Jacob's legs. Like, I'm telling you, those things are.
Yeah. And then he had a big. Poor Sean Clifford. He's had a rough go at it here lately. Oh man. But yeah. So, all right. Let's see here. I was trying to see what Jake was saying here. I completely missed it. I think he said that was a long time out. LOL. I think we take our cues from 12 on the contract. RELAX.
Yeah, because we put him in timeout for saying that Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Oh, I got you. Okay, I got you. I'm so slow, man. You know how it is, man. But all right, so not practicing today. This is kind of important, right? Pete Doherty, I think from the Green Bay Press Gazette, I believe is who he's with. Paul Brettel reposted this. Says Packers not practicing today. Jordan Love for the contract. Corey Ballantyne on NFI with the hamstring. Katan Oladapo NFI with the toe. Marshawn Lloyd with the hip. Donovan Jennings, he's on PUP, physically unable to perform. He's got a knee injury. Caleb Jones on PUP with the hammy. Elton Jenkins got a veteran rest day. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then Tucker Kraft was on pup with the pec. So to me, that looks a lot better. And obviously, you're probably going, okay, what's up with Jaden Reed? Well, lo and behold, Jaden Reed was there today. I said Jaden Reed is returning to practice off NFI in a limited capacity today, Matt LaFleur says. So, there were some people that were like, maybe it is serious, the toe injury that he sustained while the 8-year-old was burning him on the go route. I keep adding more details every time I tell that story, and I have no clue what actually happened. But so the fact that he's out there, it kind of shows you, all right, they are tracking pretty good, right? Jaden Reed's going to be just fine. So
yeah, and he was saying in his presser, he was saying that he missed being out there, right? Obviously those first two, but he said he's just going to listen to the trainers, and he's feeling good. He's happy to be back. He just wants to be a better leader, more vocal. Step up and just, fill that role, show up in the wide receiver room. And I think he's gonna, but let him take it easy, dude. We still don't have pads on. We're eating up any bit of info we get, right? But we still got some time before we play a game.
You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service, your commute to work, that one spot in your house where your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons, that's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/try us.
And you've seen Jaden Reed last year, man. He played Z, he played slot. I didn't see him in the X. He may have been there too. Played a lot of flyer. That dude's all over the place. Like, he understands his offense. And I'm not saying he shouldn't practice or he doesn't need to practice, but of all the receivers outside of Romeo Dobbs, he's probably the one I'm least worried about. Like, I think we're good there. Like you said, let's just get him healthy, right? That's the big thing.
You're talking Jaden, right? Because Smitty knows how he got hurt, actually. He knows. He said Jaden got hurt, toe racing to save a baby out of a house that was on fire during a kid event. So
there you go. I'm telling you, it's going to get the story is going to get more and more unique as we go along here. So someone had asked about Zach Tom. I can't remember who that was in the chat. Someone asked about Zach Tom, but
Mike Berry.
Mike Berry, appreciate you, buddy. Good to see you in here, Mike. So Tom Silverstein tweeted out, LaFleur said there is no specific timetable for right tackle Zach Tom's return to 11-on-11 drills. Tom is recovering from pec surgery and is doing a very limited amount in practice. So you guys know when we first reported on that pec injury, or not first reported on it, but here recently before camp kicked off, I was like, man, don't even push it. As long as he's ready week 1, that's a guy that doesn't really need a whole lot of reps, right? He can play all over the line. Probably our most intelligent offensive lineman, maybe next to Elton Jenkins. So this is a guy that understands the offense, understands everything well. Don't push it. And then, of course, they activated him day 1. I went, maybe they are going to push it. It's obvious they activated him, but he's kind of taking it easy. So is anybody concerned about Zach Tom? I'm feeling pretty good about that situation. I think he's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm concerned about is wasn't it Zach Tom, Tucker Kraft, and Matt LaFleur all had the tripecta?
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
I see what you did there.
I tried to get you while you were getting that water. It didn't work. I wanted a spit take, a genuine spit take.
Rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Very well played there, Jake. So obviously with Zach Tom, not a whole lot to worry about there.
No. Honestly, I'm more worried about how we're going to pay him as a right tackle, a left guard, or center. I mean, that's what I would be more worried about.
Because Elton Jenkins, when we gave him his contract, if you guys will remember, they didn't give him left tackle money, but they didn't really give him guard money at the time either, right? Now, guard has kind of blimped up here lately. Now, obviously, he could play tackle in a pinch, but they see him more as an interior offensive lineman. I think that has a lot to do with Matt LaFleur's scheme. Like, I'm reading Bobby Peters' book right now, and he does a great job going into great detail. If you guys haven't picked this up, excellent read, The Complete Green Bay Packers 2023 Offensive Manual, all right? And he opens everything up with breaking down plays outside zone weak and RPOs. What's that tell you? They like to run a lot of weak side runs. Now, they can go strong left at times and run weak to the right, but for the most part, running weak and running boot off of that weak, what you're looking to do with that bunch nasty X set and even your dub sets is you're looking to roll right to Jordan Love's throw side. Now, he will roll back across his body because defenses are more apt to kind of ignore that because most quarterbacks don't have the arm talent to throw across their body. But the majority of the time, it feels like they're trying to run weak side left, and that might be why Matt LaFleur maybe sees that left guard position as just as, if not more important, in the left tackle position, because that's everything kind of revolves around it with the boot action and everything. I don't know if that makes sense, but reading the book, that kind of stood out to me. Like maybe that's why they're keeping Elton where he's at, because left guard is important in this offense. So just something to kind of
being able to run to that weak side, right? Before without needing to pull someone or drag somebody over each time, but you can still use the motion. Sorry, Jacob, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to comment or see what you guys thought, because from my understanding, actually, when I listened to Ryan's podcast, I don't think Newman got getting paid whatsoever. I think actually he had to take a structured pay cut because of the fact that he hit a certain plethora of like plays that he hit. But there was also the point the Packers are like, we're not going to pay you this. Nobody's going to pay you this. You're either going to take this cut right here, and we might not even see you on the 53. And he basically got like we're going to make cap room, and then maybe if you show us something, we'll keep you on the 53.
It's basically a game-to-game basis is what it comes down to. They like to structure their roster bonuses in a way that if they're on the roster week by week, they get paid. Most roster bonuses, the way they're geared is they have it set up to where if you make the roster week 1, you're guaranteed that money, right? With the Packers and the way they structure theirs, and this is hearing other people way smarter than me talk about it, they're making it sound as if they do it on a week-to-week basis, meaning by week 3, if you cut them, okay, that roster bonus that kind of seemed like it was a guarantee, what they refer to as practical guarantee, it's no longer guaranteed because they could cut you, right? So to me, that's the way I took it too, Jacob. You cleared up cap space and you made it kind of a week-to-week basis type contract. So, and again, if it was fully guaranteed and they didn't even adjust anything, his contract was $3 million. Like, right. I'm more concerned with Royce Newman taking up a roster spot than I am $3 million.
So that's when Chris followed up. He goes, he's going to make the team though, Jacob. Do you guys think? I don't know what to think now, because like you guys,
I don't think it's a guarantee.
I don't know if it's a guarantee at all. If anything, I thought it was maybe more of a little bit of a notch down, but I honestly haven't seen a lot of other talent on that offensive line yet. So I want to see these pads get on, like Coach said.
Yeah. Well, you talk about making the team. Let's do this real quick. Let's look at, let me drop this down for just a second. Hopefully that's not getting on your all's nerves. I just like to loop the practice videos and I give a shout out real quick.
Pick something else up out of it every time.
Yeah, Wes Hodkowitz, Matt Schneidman, and Paul Brettel were the ones who shared those videos on Twitter. I just cut them and threw them on. So appreciate them taking that footage. That's awesome. So what was I getting at? There was something I was going to – okay. So when we broke camp last year, and again, this doesn't mean we're going to break camp with the same number this year. Let's look at the offensive linemen here, okay? We broke camp with 11 offensive linemen, all right? So if we break camp with 11 this year, let's count it off here. We're talking Royce Newman specifically, right? So count them off. Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom. Do we all agree those guys are probably going to make the team, right? Sean Ryan hasn't impressed, but he's a third-round pick, right? All right, so Jordan Morgan. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Jacob Monk. I think he'll make it for sure, right? Who else is a slam dunk? That's probably all the slam dunks, in my opinion. Would you agree or you disagree with that?
I would think they're going to try to sneak Tenuta or Caleb Jones. I don't know why they have Caleb Jones so far back, because it seems like they've invested so much time in him. Isn't he still maybe – I don't know if he's still a little hurt or something, but I don't think Dillard's going to make the team. I don't think Laceta Smith is going to make the team. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
We're at 7 right there. So let's include Royce Newman. That's 8.
And throw my boy Glover in there because he's on his 4-year contract.
Luke Tenuta.
You got to have Monk.
Luke Tenuta, and this is just going off of this depth chart. So Luke Tenuta makes 9, right? So now you're getting into Andre Dillard and let's say Travis Glover. There's your 11. So Laceta Smith, Kadeem Telford, and Caleb Jones. Would you rather have one of those 3 over Royce Newman? That's the question, right? If you keep 11, you may go with 10, you may go with 12. We don't know. I'm just saying, theoretically speaking, off of last year and the number that we broke camp with in week 1. Yeah. For me personally, I'm probably taking Royce Newman over who we just mentioned.
Just because of the experience and the plays he's been out on the NFL field, right?
Yeah. So that so what Chris is saying, he probably will make the team, right? Now I just don't think contractually the contract says anything in regards to he's definitely got to make the team, right? And I'm not saying Chris is saying that either, but
no, and that's why I was asking the question, because that's what I asked the same. In my head, that's what I thought when Chris said it. I'm like, yeah, it's a restructure. So does that make it more or less likely? It could be more because the fact, like, of the age, it seems like they're being really smart this year and being like, hey, you guys have kind of been not great Packers for the last few years. How about we give you like 1/10 of what you used to make and see if you can impress us, and then we'll give you, maybe another shot. And they all were like, all right, cool. It's kind of a testament to at least show that the people want to be there. The players want to stay in Green Bay.
That's the big thing that I took away from the Royce Newman restructure was like it seemed like he was, I want to be here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
remember his wife was in
made decent money, so why not, right?
Yeah. His wife was in one of the original, like, remember when they did that awkward, when the Packers started doing weird stuff with their social media and they started asking the wives, like, what's the weirdest thing about your husband? And they shared a bunch of weird stuff where I was like, I bet you that wife knows what it's like. She's been in Green Bay. She has friends. They have a family, a community. Like, I guarantee you some of that. I know that's the thing with AJ Dillon. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly why they were willing to take that pay cut. And I wonder if the Green Bay offices knows that and says, hey, we're going to cut you a little less.
Yeah. Mr. Maki Riggs says we drafted Jordan Morgan, Jacob Monk, and Travis Glover. They'll be on the roster. I have to agree. I can't imagine unless Travis Glover just falls flat on his face, right? And here's the other thing, too. We don't like to talk about this, but it happens every single year. Some of these conversations we're having will be sorted out through injury, right? Yeah. It happens every year. It sucks, but it's the reality. So, yeah.
But why would you not take the chance on the guy with the new 4-year contract instead of bringing Caleb back in? We can put him on the practice squad, and if we don't crack it after that, it's over. I mean, like, they're going to have to rotate and find, a new project, I guess.
Yeah. Jake Shavink in the chat said this interior offensive lineman depth, man, with a crazy face emoji. I can't tell if he's being positive or negative. Can you, Emilio? I don't know if he's saying it is deep.
A little bit in between, maybe. It could be really excited. It could be an issue.
And then Jason Yu on X, appreciate you joining us, buddy. He says that O-line depth scares me. So I'm trying to figure sarcasm is so hard to read through text. But so let's get into the offensive line a little bit more here. Obviously, we mentioned Elton Jenkins today had a veteran rest day, so that's cool. Obviously, there's no reason to have him out there, especially with the pads ain't even on yet. Now, at right tackle, this was interesting. Kadeem Telford starts at right tackle today instead of Andre Dillard, with Zach Tom still sidelined from 11 on 11. So the big thing there, Andre Dillard got his lunch ate yesterday by Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary literally took his milk money. That's what happened yesterday. Yeah. So they popped him down to, I think, second team, if I remember correctly, is what they said. It wasn't as bad as third team, but some more offensive line news and notes here. Wes Heiklowitz tweeted out earlier in the day, he said Kadeem Telford working at right tackle with the ones, okay? Sean Ryan in for Jenkins at left guard, Jordan Morgan at right guard. I've kind of said all along, I want Jordan Morgan at right guard. Rasheed Walker left tackle, Zach Tom right tackle, and give me Jordan Morgan at right guard. Yeah. Because what did we just get through talking about? And we didn't even really we didn't organize it this way either. But we just got through talking about how we ran a lot of weak zone plays, right? Weak side run, zone run. Mm-hmm. What if all of a sudden you start going strong side run, and you've got Jordan Morgan, who's he was a fantastic run blocker in college, right? Just an absolute technician. What if you turn that into a strength and you start showing some strong side runs and boot off to the weak side? It's a game of chess. It really is. So I thought that was interesting there, though. Sean Ryan in for Jenkins at left guard. Obviously, Sean Ryan, whether you like him or not, he was a third-round pick. They liked him and still do. And then you put Jordan Morgan at right guard. How do y'all feel about that? Let's remove Kadeem Telford and just say, okay, Zach Tom's going to be your right tackle. So in this case, if we kind of like this combo, it would be Rasheed Walker left tackle, Elton Jenkins left guard, Josh Myers center, Jordan Morgan at right guard, right? And then Zach Tom at right tackle. What do you think about that, fellas? And then Sean Ryan could be kind of your swing guard.
I kind of like that, honestly. I would rather have Morgan on the field than not. So put him at right guard, put him at right guard because I'm fine with Rasheed Walker until he proves otherwise. He came out, ready to play this offseason. He knew that we drafted someone and he still showed up and he's playing. So I'm fine with keeping him there, let him hold his spot and definitely get Morgan on the field.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you think, man?
I mean, to me, I don't get where all of any hate comes from the Walker thing. The guy, to me, has been an absolute diamond in the rough. So don't mess with that. Keep Jenkins at right guard. Hopefully, I never thought I'd say this, but hopefully Josh Myers is healthy at center. And then we can have, like you said, slip Morgan in there. And then if we have to switch him out with either Ryan or possibly, God forbid, again, that Royce Newman has to get in there, or see if somebody like Jacob Monk can maybe slide over. I mean, somebody said in the chat too about how they'd like to see what Monk can do. Yeah, right here, it's for this. He said, I want to see how Monk can do at center when he's not snapping in a hurricane. And that's fair. A lot of these guys, no pads on, no starting quarterback, and you don't have to play in a monsoon. So there are some situations where I should take a step back. Anybody else worried should maybe take a step back and say, hey, that's kind of weird. We actually do have some breaking news over here from M. Smitty, if you want to hit on it quick.
Go ahead, man. Pop it up there. Let's hear it.
So he says, M. Smitty says, looks like we have our first major ACL injury of camp, albeit with the Vikings cornerback Mekhi Blackman suffers a torn ACL per Tom Pelissero, which is really big because they are not deep at the cornerback position. That's one of their biggest weaknesses. So
yeah, especially with, I know I'm going to butcher the name. I'm trying to think of the young man, their rookie corner that got drafted, unfortunately just passed away.
Yeah.
And listen, we love the rivalries and everything, but we don't root for injuries, obviously.
Was that Kyrie Jackson from Oregon?
Yeah, Kyrie Jackson. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Vikings, you're right, Jacob. Now you got an ACL injury here with another rookie, right? He was a rookie or no?
No, maybe he was actually a veteran that was supposed to slide into being a starter. So
gotcha. So yeah,
he played us real well last year. I'm pretty sure, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had a couple of really good games.
Yeah, so that's tough, man. Again, whether it's your most hated rival or not, you hate to see that because these guys are, chasing their dream, and there's nothing worse than an ACL setback, obviously, unless it's something that's career ending. You got a full year now that you got to sit back and do it all over again. The rehab sucks. So yeah, kind of bittersweet. Obviously the Vikings will be a little bit weaker because of it, but you never want to root for injuries. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, no, they also, remember last year we were all high on, I think it was Georgia's safety, Lewis Seen. Do you remember that guy?
Yep.
Or maybe it was I think he was Georgia. He might have been a Gator, but he was supposed to be, I think they took him in either the first or second round. Somebody can check that out too. He now apparently is like 5 or 6 on their depth chart. So he has not worked out whatsoever. So they are struggling in the secondary. And Harrison Smith can't keep, being a baller every year. That guy's like 47. He's got to be. He's holding that up.
He can't be everywhere. I'll tell you who can be everywhere, though. Our boy Bo Melton. Matt Schneiden said, safe bet that you'll see the Bo Melton end around this season. Packers just ran it again and got Melton to the edge with Tyler Davis blocking Jair Alexander.
Oh, boy.
That was a stiff block.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them, though.
Love me some Bo Melton, man. That dude has got – people don't understand. I say this because I didn't understand when we first signed him. That dude has got some wheels on him, man. I remember the excitement, the buzz around the first time we got Christian Watson and Bo Melton on the field at the same time. I remember Ryan talking about on his pod like we've never seen that before. Pretty sure that game, the first game we got them on the field together, everything kind of blew up, right? Like everything just kind of went because you're stretching the field on both sides of the line, whether you're in the Z or the boundary X there. And you got to respect that, man. And it might not be, I don't see them bracket covering anybody, including Christian Watson right now, but you do see corners really fading back quick because they know Watson can burn them. Now you got Bo Melton doing the same thing. Bo's a diamond in the rough, I believe. So Grant Dubose also today, Wes Hocklewitz tweeted out, said Grant Dubose has looked good this offseason, had a good spring and a catch, nice grabs in TC. Says good route and catch on a ball from Easton. So Grant DeBoe's starting to show up a little bit. It might be a little too late, though, fellas, because that receiver room is stacked, man. Let's take a look at it real quick. Just give it a quick glance here. Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, obviously your starters, Dontavian Wicks, Bo Melton, Malik Heath. Then you got Samori Toure, Grant DeBose, Alex Magoo, Julian Hicks, and Dimitri Stanley. So the only way that you see Grant DeBose, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, everybody's healthy. The only way you can see Grant DeBose making the roster is that they carried, 7, correct?
Yeah, right.
And if that's the case, because I don't think anybody put Grant DeBose over Malik Heath or Bo Melton. I could be wrong. There may be some would take him over Malik Heath, but no, he said.
He blocked him to the water cooler, baby. Come on.
Yeah, so we carried 6 out of camp last year, the final 53. So there you go. How are we feeling about DeBose, man? Do you think probably not going to carry 7. I'd say he's probably going to be another practice squad guy unless he just absolutely lights it up, right?
Yeah, I know Tim's somewhere gritting, just chomping down on whatever he's vaping right now. But I would hope that, I should not hope, but like you talked about, God willing, there's no injuries, but it always seems like there is going to be at least maybe for a few weeks. I think it'd be a great situation where Grant DeBose can pop in and out maybe throughout the year, maybe through 3 or 4 or 5 games and just kind of show us what he's done. There has been flashes. Even the the all pessimistic Ryan Schlip has read off, and he goes, "Hey, Grant DeBow seems like he's making some plays out there, getting his name called at least, which is all you can ask for in the early parts of the training camp." And I wish he would have stayed healthy. Wasn't he like a Charlotte guy, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that?
I think that's a right, Emilio.
I just am interested. Do you know what type of receiver is he? More of like a possession? Is he like a one of those guys that can kind of move around? To me, I remember thought of him more of like a. Hate comparing somebody to Alan Lazard, but kind of like that type of player.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think kind of Malik Heath is more of, our.
How dare you? How
dude,
dare you?
No, I'm saying Malik Heath needs to be our big slot. We need someone that can block.
How dare you?
Yeah,
thank you, Greta.
But Jacob knows everybody's name. It's hilarious.
I honestly think, let's see, his draft profile for Grant DeBow coming out, he had a 76.8 overall grade in 21 and a 71.6 in 22, and he lined up, kind of looked all over, screen, slots. Okay. He kind of caught everything. 8% drop rate, 72 receiving grade with 1.87 yards per route run. So not bad, right? But it's tough with the 6 ahead of him. Plus everybody else around him. So I like putting him on the practice squad and bringing him up when needed.
Yeah. So more practice notes here. Wes Hockowitz says, after Gary collapsed the pocket yesterday, Devontae Wyatt already has been in Clifford's face a couple times today. So Devontae Wyatt showing some flash. Listen, I'm excited about this defensive front. Don't get me wrong, but you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't this happen every camp, though? Doesn't it feel like every camp the defense is just dominating? Yes. Or is it just because I remember Aaron Rodgers getting slandered because he was throwing interceptions, right? Because now's the time to work on that stuff. But maybe I don't want to be like, oh, no, this doesn't mean anything for the defense, because I think it does matter. But at the same time, it just seems like every year the defense has the upper hand. Am I wrong there?
I don't think you are, because I remember every single year I'm so excited. And by the time September's done, I'm just like, why did I let myself get hurt again?
I'm ready to get hurt again.
Yeah, that's right. This year's different, though. I really do feel that Hafley has got these guys. Every single interview, they talk about the tempo. And DA, who's he again?
Anzalone.
Yes, they say that Stokes specifically. By the way, Stokes had a great interview today.
Yeah, I love that.
He said great little day probably like 56 times, and I'm not even exaggerating. But he talks about how DA told him that every single practice, if you guys don't match my intensity and play, this dude's apparently just like biting nails and just kicking babies, and so they're playing fired up.
Just bending rebar with his bare hands.
Yeah. And just a quick refresher. Derek Ansley was the guy that helped recruit Xavier McKinney to Alabama for Nick Saban. Right. Okay. So they have a little bit of there's a lot of continuity on that backside. Right. And Derek Ansley was the defensive coordinator for the LA Chargers last year and the passing game coordinator. So he knows what it's like to be in that position as DC. And now he is, the DB coach. It's pretty exciting stuff, man. You can't put a price tag on experience like that for sure. Professor Cake says, let's just not talk about the defense at all. I feel like we're going to jinx it. we always feel like that for sure.
Jacob, did you hear, though, at the end of Stokes' interview when he was talking about how he wants to go back and watch the tape right now about his 3rd and 4 break? Who was it against? I forgot who he said it was against, but basically got to the top of the stem and he didn't react fast enough on his break to come back to the ball. He's like, that is one thing I'm going to absolutely hammer tomorrow. Like, I'm going to sit there, watch tape tonight, and that is what I'm going to work on tomorrow. Like, I was not happy with myself, my effort on that one. And I just love that. The dude's watched so much tape recently, right? We know that he's been in there grinding because he's been injured. So he sees that, he wants to work on it, and he's getting better nightly. Awesome.
Yeah, is that the one where he ran into Watson and got a pass interference because he didn't get his head around? Because that's another thing
That was the other one.
He criticized himself about that, which honestly, that little bit worried me because he did have 2 picks, but he said he's got to work on that too because it was the only big play for the offense, and it was a pass interference. It was a long ball down the sideline to Watson, and he didn't get his head around. And we've talked about how that's probably his biggest weakness. He ended up running into Watson. They got a pass interference, but yeah.
And like it's going to be tough to fix that adjustment sitting on the sideline watching tape. But now that he's in there running routes and doing that stuff, he's getting the feel for it again.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk Stokes here. Here's some of the updates from Matt Schneidman at practice today. I believe I need to start at the bottom and work my way up to do them in order, if I remember correctly. So it says Stokes picked off Clifford again. Clifford couldn't find anyone and threw it into Stokes' chest. Almost had another INT right before, but Wicks broke up a ball thrown right to Jair on the sideline. And then after that, it says Stokes also had a nice pass breakup on a good go ball from Clifford down the right side to Watson. Stokes appeared to be shaken up for a bit, but he stayed in. So the first pick there, you're like, okay, you hit him in the numbers with it. You got to catch that, right? That right there, though, going down the sideline, they're saying it's a good ball from Clifford and him covering Watson. That gives me a lot of hope for that foot and that leg was that injury. It sounds like it's completely healed. And then he went on to say third interception of the day goes to Eric Stokes. Clifford throws slightly behind Wicks over the middle, and the ball deflects off Wicks' hands and to Stokes. Clifford then throws a wobbly, underthrown ball down the left side to Watson, and Stokes commits defensive pass interference near the pylon. That's the one you were talking about, probably, right? So there you go. Now, also with Stokes, this was pretty cool. Matt Schneidman put an article out on the New York Times that says Eric Stokes was the star of camp on Wednesday with 2 INTs and a nice pass breakup. It's only one day without pads, but it might signify there's some substance behind off-season hoopla surrounding the 2021 first rounder and his rehab after 2 trying seasons. You guys remember Matt LaFleur has, just trumpeted his praise all off season long. Jeff Hafley has said nothing but positive things. Some of it coach speak, possibly, right? But it sounds like Stokes. Again, the interceptions are great, but him running stride for stride with Watson on a good go ball and breaking it up, that's the thing I'm excited about. Now, he went on to say this in the locker room. I'll get your all's take on it. Matt Schneidman tweeted out, Eric Stokes said, quote, "We want to be remembered as one of the best defenses out here. We don't want to be like, oh, we relying on the offense and all this stuff. Nah, we want, when people think about the Packers, they think about our defense, not our offense. Bro, let's go." Got
That'd be cool.
Going. Yep. And he was talking to his D-line. All you got to do is hold him for or the D-line was telling him in the secondary, all you got to do is hold him for 3, and we'll get there. And he's like, I have faith in them that they are absolutely going to get there. They're going to tear it up this year.
Yeah. If you guys would, really, really appreciate if you just take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Feel free to sub to the channel if you like this kind of content. We appreciate y'all making us a part of your evening. This might be it, Jacob Stokes, dude. It might be the year he puts it together, right?
As much as I hope that it is, and I really do, because I think that he's earned it, and especially for the draft capital that we spent on him. I will say one other thing, though. I watched an interview with a man named Carrington Valentine today who apparently, number one, he looks good. He still looks like he's moving around. Here's what I didn't know about the man. He went from, they asked him, hey, man, you look a little thick. What's going on? They're like, yep.
Thick.
Yes, he is.
I went from 184, and they're like, what are you at now? He said 202.
Thick.
And he was like, but the way he did it, he's like, I ate clean. I didn't do anything to just get this weight. So it was weight that I was carrying. I feel like I'm stronger. I'm faster. I'm more agile. Just now about 20 pounds stronger than I was last year. He said, I felt like and now I'm not going to have that problem. And he said, they asked him, what'd you think of Stokes' day today? And you could see that he was kind of like, good for him, but like, I want to get mine, and I'm going to get mine, and we're friends and everything. And they're like, you could kind of tell they were trying to push for him to be very much more like he's my teammate. And he basically went on to say, we're teammates, we make each other better, and that's what makes good teammates. So he's in no way whatsoever being like, I'm not going to make the starting lineup. He's very much convinced that he will. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people will take players from their favorite college teams and try to amp them up and make them seem like they're better than they are. I've really, really tried not to do that with the players that, I root for in college, Carrington Valentine being one. That's why I feel like I've been as critical of him as anyone on this podcast. And
you've been way more critical than anyone on this podcast of him.
So I try to be intentional with that because that stuff bothers me. But one thing that did stand out to me last year when the college football season got kicked off, and more specifically at the SEC meetings, again, this is last offseason, Coach Stokes with Kentucky said, yeah, we lost our emotional leader in Carrington. So, and now you're hearing this kind of this grit and this, even as a rookie, he was fiery. How many times did he throw up the strap city, right? Like he's embracing it. So I hope he puts it together. And the fact that he put on some extra weight, man, I think that's a good sign too. Like you said, the right kind of weight, not the kind of weight I'm carrying right now. You know what I mean? Eating too much beef jerky.
Dude almost put on 20 pounds I'm guessing 98% muscle, right? I mean, he probably stopped at Culver once that entire offseason, right, to get his cheese curds. But
they actually did ask him. They're like, was it hard? What was the worst part about it, as far as like eating more calories than you've ever eaten, or feeling kind of sluggish because you're eating? And he's like, no, I just changed what I was eating, and I decided I was going to work out a little bit harder and do this and that. And he said it wasn't hard as long as I put my mind to it. It's not hard at all. And he just brushed it off. And I was like, dang, I wish I could do that with my jelly donuts and stuff.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
All right. So let's see here. Safety rotation. This is kind of cool. Wes Hockowitz says Matt LaFleur on the safety rotation next to Xavier McKinney. Every day, he said, quote, every day is going to be a new guy in there and just let it play out. Could have multiple guys playing opposite of Xavier McKinney on game day. So they're looking at that could be a little coach speak. We'll see. But they're really doing a heavy rotation in the safety room, trying to see who's who there. So here's an update from that. Matt Schneidman tweeted out during practice. And then Evan Williams picks off Sean Clifford in the end on a wobbly deep ball down the middle, basically a jump ball for Dontavian Wicks, and Williams came down with it. Earned a big fist bump from Jeff Hafley. That's 2 picks in the last 2 days for both AJJ and Evan Williams. Before that, I'm thinking it might be before that. It says Anthony Johnson Jr. with his second interception in as many days. Michael Pratt threw high of Jalen Wayne. I don't even know who that is. Over the middle, ball tipped off of Wayne's hands, and Johnson made the diving pick. So that's interesting. LaFleur said today it'll be a rotation of guys alongside Xavier McKinney in camp. So Evan Williams, dude, listen, Caetano Ladapo can't make the club in the tub. That's what we mean by that, right? We talk about it all the time. Sounds like Evan Williams is making the most of his reps. Now, I'm not saying he's going to leapfrog Javon Bullard. What I am saying is I'm feeling even more comfortable about that safety room. You could probably plug and play either one of those. We're in the 3rd day of camp, and I'm over here going, we got our safety room fit. We ain't even got the pads on yet. But Evan Williams has done nothing but impress, and our big question mark was we know he can hit, we know he can tackle, he can rush the quarterback, all those exotic things they did at Oregon, but can he cover? He's showing he can cover, at least right now, with the pads off. So, what do you think? What do you think, Jacob? Do you think Evan Williams has a chance to beat out Bullard, or do you think Bullard has got that, man?
I don't think that I mean, he has a chance. Obviously, it's a chance for anything, really. But I think that it's starting to show, like you talked about, they might have certain packages. I know that Xavier is going to be the absolute constant, but I think that it might give Jeff Hafley, he talked about making things simple and just making sure everybody understands. I think he might realize that in that secondary, he doesn't have to make it as simple as he once thought he would. He's got an interchangeable group we might have to keep 5 of those safeties, right? Because and I'll just say the secondary in general, I would say that he probably is sitting there going, man, I can do a lot of stuff with this. Even with maybe 5 or 4 D-backs on the field at one time, who knows? He can start to pick and get really unique with certain downs and distances and all that kind of stuff. And I really do have high hopes for this defense. I know it's right now, I never thought it would be, but I think our linebacker group might be the most up in the air because we need to see Quay take a step. We need Edgerrin to make a really big step and maybe have guys like McDuffie and Wilson actually kind of show us that they can be more than backups. But I think our D-line stacked, secondary stacked completely from this cornerback room to the safety room now. So,
Jacob, you are such a professional, sir. What a segue. Look at this.
I didn't look at it.
Matt Schneidman said Isaiah McDuffie blew up multiple run plays during 11-on-11 today. Don't count him out just yet in that linebacker group. Packers might have something with Quay, McDuffie, and Cooper. I'm seeing Quay as the Mike, Cooper as the Will, McDuffie as the Sam. Sign me up, boys. Sign me
awesome.
Matt said that Isaiah just, showed out every time. He comes out and works hard on defense, special teams, everything that he carries himself, consistent, and he loves that about him. And he was kind of saying the same thing. Who were we just talking about? Yeah. He was saying the same thing about it. I can't even with Eric. He is just.
You read the chat, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Emilio. I got to do it to you.
Stay off the damn
Thank you.
weed.
Jeez.
Bro, I couldn't tell you how many times I've been mid-sentence and go, what was I even talking about?
Dude, here's what I do. I
like someone else we've heard a lot, speak a lot the last few years, just go,
Anyway.
So, all right. With that being said, last little tidbit of the day. Obviously, the defense won the day again, so it's more push-ups for the offense, says Matt Schneidman. Third straight day victorious for the defense as Jordan Love remains on the sideline. So there you go, man. Defense dominates again. We seen this last year, guys. Go back, look at the camp updates last year. The offense was constantly doing push-ups. I remember Ryan on the Packernet podcast saying, I just want the offense to win one day. I want the defense to have to do push-ups one time. So here we are again, man. Again, the defense always has the upper hand, I feel like, early.
That's what I was going to say. In Matt's presser, he was talking about how both the safeties, any safety that's coming in is going to need to be able to play post or play box opposite of X so that we can bring X up and down. It's like everybody needs to be able to do both in that option so that this defense can hum. And I like that. I like that Bullard and Evan have shown it so far that's where they're heading with their performances.
Yeah, I love it. All right, exactly. So obviously as we get ready to wrap up here, tomorrow is an off day for the well, doesn't mean there's an off day. There's no open
signing
practice.
Day.
What is it?
Signing day.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow or Friday morning. Yeah.
Signing day. What are you talking about?
Signing Jordan Love tomorrow so we can get him and pads ready to start on Friday.
I'm like, what did I miss? They changed the rules or something in the league? So tomorrow, no open practice to the public, but then Friday, a 10:30 a.m. practice. I think I heard someone say today the pads come on Saturday. I've heard Friday, I've heard but it's Saturday. Okay. So Saturday we get the pads popping. Again, my deadline for being worried will be the 31st, July 31st. If Jordan Love still has have a contract, I'm going to be going, all right, let's go. Let's get this thing together. Do I need to come up there and write a check? It'll bounce. It'll bounce all over Brown County, but I'll write the damn check. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. And again, August 1st, next Thursday, is the Hall of Fame game, the very first preseason game of the NFL. Then you got family night 2 days later. And then, of course, we will have our first Packers preseason game the following Saturday, 3:25 kickoff. I love that, boys. That's awesome right there. So a nice little midday game there. So got some joint practices coming up a little later in the month too. Actually just one, right, with Baltimore the 22nd. So
yeah, and they're only doing 1 day because they said that 2 days were getting a little too heated.
They learned how to not do that, dude.
Yeah.
I love how Elton Jenkins got out of it last year, right? The players don't like it. It's obvious. Elton just went out there in Cincinnati, smacked a couple guys in the mouth, got thrown out. He's like, I'm going to call it a day. We're good. You know what I mean? Jacob said he's done that at work a couple times.
Yeah, he's got to crash some skulls. Did y'all see real quick? There was like 3 different teams where they had massive fights inter-team during their there was the Kansas City Chiefs. Houston had one. I want to say that there was at least 1 or 2 others. So it's really cool to see that we're able to keep this continuity and just make sure these guys, they're so young, like they don't have anything to beef about. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I like the intensity. That would be my excuse if I'm one of those teams. But at the same time, that to me shows that there's not enough structure. If you guys are getting in full on, like they were decleating each other and throwing punches and stuff. It's like, that's crazy.
I got to know who it was. Let's see here. 6 hours ago, new footage, wild footage from the fight at Texans camp. Here we go. Let's pull it up.
This is a bad one.
Give me a second. Emilio, say something smart.
Yeah, the Chiefs one was Karlaftis. I think he decleated Kadarius Toney.
But he didn't even really deplete. No, he was coming in momentum. Kadarius Toney's like 5'2",
right,
so he hit the ground and then he chucked the ball back at.
He kind of just gave him a little shove to your like your little brother sort of thing.
And then the other one, I believe it was one of their decent cornerbacks came and blindsided Dalton Schultz because he got him on the ground.
Oh no! Here we go. We're gonna have to keep it muted. There might be language. We got children watching, so here we go.
Right.
You see a little scuffle, a little chirping. All right. Oh, look at that!
All you hear is the crowd going, "Oh no!"
All right, let's see if it might be some cuss words. Earmuff the kids real quick. We got to hear this, okay? I love it. Look, I am 71. 71's my spirit animal. Look, everybody else is sprinting on the field. Watch 71 close. What happened?
Taking my shoes off, man.
Get him. I'm too tired to get over there. I'm just going to hang out back here, guys. So I love it, man. Training camp, boy. You can imagine how hot it gets in those pads and everything. Oh, my gosh. So,
yeah.
All right. Emilio, parting thoughts, sir. What do you got?
Nothing, man. Well, I want the pads to come on, then we can start talking about O-line, D-line issues.
There you go. I like it. Jacob, anything else, man?
Oh, I got such a good joke, but I'm not going to do it. You guys just have a great night. Tomorrow, I hope that we're talking about a Jordan Love contract, because that really is what I feel like would really catapult us into the next few weeks of getting everything ready, because we've seen this offense desperately needs a leader. And I want us to have the defense do a few push-ups here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got Lincoln scratching at the door. He's like, bro, let me in there. It's 3 degrees cooler in your office. Let me in there, man. So, all right. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Thank you all so much. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time. Chewy, get a hold of me. Shoot me a DM, bro. You won the awesome frame picture that Mr. Larry donated to the pod. The frame photo of the great quarterback, Star Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre together. Make sure you reach out, Chewy, and I'll just hand deliver it. It sounds like you're pretty close here to where I live, so we'll get that to you. What did you just say?
Nothing. Like the chat changed when I was trying to put one up that was
no
appropriate.
All right. God, this show sucks. We can't make it through one episode without screwing something up. I don't know why y'all are here watching, but thank you so much for doing that. If you're married, please tell your spouses we apologize. You just wasted an hour of your life. Okay. So everybody have a wonderful evening. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.